In the world of mixed martial arts, the matchups that spark the most excitement are often the ones that pit raw, rising talent against seasoned, battle-tested veterans. A perfect example of such a matchup is a fantasy fight between Dakota and Alexa Grasso. These two fighters, though operating at different stages of their careers, embody contrasting but equally formidable approaches to combat. One is the unstoppable force of youth, speed, and explosive striking, while the other is the measured, disciplined, championship-level tactician whose years of experience have molded her into a true master of MMA. To fully appreciate the implications of this hypothetical showdown, it is important to examine the fighters' backgrounds, styles, strengths, weaknesses, and potential strategies in detail. Starting with Alexa Grasso, the Mexican-born fighter has become one of the most respected women in MMA. Born in Guadalajara, she grew up in an environment steeped in martial arts. Fighting was never an extracurricular curiosity for her, it was a way of life. Training in her family's gym from a young age, Grasso developed not only technical skills but also a sense of discipline and composure that would later define her career. She quickly became known for her crisp, precise boxing, excellent footwork, and ability to adapt mid-fight, qualities that are critical at the elite level of mixed martial arts. Her early career in Invicta FC, where she scored lightning-fast knockouts, 15 seconds against Sandra Del Ron and 12 seconds against Lupita Hernandez, demonstrated the deadly combination of speed, timing, and accuracy that would come to define her as a dangerous opponent. These performances were not simply about raw power. They were a showcase of Grasso's ability to read her opponents and strike at the exact moment when they were most vulnerable. Grasso's technical proficiency extends far beyond her hands. Her MMA toolkit is broad and versatile. She is capable of striking at range with clean, efficient combinations, but she is equally adept in the clinch, able to transition into grappling or submission work when necessary. A key example of her versatility came when she upset Valentina Shevchenko to claim the UFC flyweight championship. That fight illustrated not only her physical skill but also her mental acuity. She could survive bad rounds, make necessary adjustments, and exploit the smallest errors from a world-class opponent. This kind of championship composure is rare, particularly for someone competing in a sport as unforgiving as MMA. In contrast, Dakota Ditcheva represents the new wave of MMA talent, young, explosive, and fearless. Ditcheva is tall for her division, which gives her a reach advantage that she uses masterfully. Her style is characterized by aggressive, high-speed striking that keeps opponents on the back foot. Every fight she enters begins with the intention of overwhelming her opponent through sheer pace, volume, and precision. Her striking arsenal is diverse and powerful, encompassing long-range kicks, elbows, knees, and devastating punches. Her ability to mix angles and change levels in the clinch makes her extremely difficult to predict, even for experienced fighters. Ditcheva's journey into the upper echelons of MMA has been shaped by both natural talent and deliberate training. She trains at Aspera Gym under the guidance of elite coaches, including Phil Turner, a highly respected jiu-jitsu trainer who has developed several top-tier fighters. This mentorship has helped Ditcheva expand beyond her striking roots, gradually becoming a more complete mixed martial artist. While she may not yet have the championship-level experience of Grasso, her explosive skill set, youthful resilience, and hunger for success give her a formidable presence in the cage. When analyzing a potential fight between these two, it is essential to consider their contrasting approaches. Ditcheva thrives on chaos and pressure. Her strategy involves taking the initiative early, forcing opponents into uncomfortable positions, and using speed and power to finish fights quickly. Her youth and energy allow her to maintain a relentless pace that few can match, and her Muay Thai background provides a strong foundation for both long-range attacks and close-quarters clinch work. On the other hand, Grasso's game plan relies on observation, patience, and technical precision. She waits for mistakes, slips attacks, and counters effectively, often breaking down opponents incrementally rather than relying on a single knockout strike. Physically, the fighters also present distinct challenges for each other. Ditcheva's reach and height advantage make her difficult to approach, and her speed means that a slow or overly cautious strategy could leave Grasso vulnerable in the early exchanges. Conversely, Grasso's experience with elite-level opponents gives her the ability to manage distance, control timing, and force Ditcheva into a measured, technical fight, essentially testing whether the young striker can adapt when the chaos she thrives on is neutralized. Another critical factor is mental composure. Grasso has fought under the most intense pressures imaginable, facing top-ranked competitors and surviving adversity in championship bouts. This experience translates to a calm, strategic approach under duress. Ditcheva, while confident and aggressive, is still relatively early in her career, which could make her susceptible to calculated adjustments from a veteran opponent. However, her confidence and fearlessness are assets, particularly in the early stages of a fight when she can dictate the pace and rhythm. Looking deeper at the striking battle, Ditcheva's explosive kicks and knees are a primary weapon. She can overwhelm opponents with high-volume, high-impact strikes that target both the head and body. Her ability to maintain distance while mixing attacks makes her especially dangerous for fighters who rely solely on boxing or short-range exchanges. Grasso, however, is highly adept at reading striking patterns and slipping attacks. She has consistently shown an ability to neutralize fast, aggressive opponents by creating angles and exploiting openings. Her footwork is precise, allowing her to conserve energy and choose the moments when she can strike most effectively. Clinch work and grappling would likely be another decisive factor. Ditcheva's Muay Thai training makes her a potent threat in the clinch, where knees and elbows can accumulate significant damage. She is comfortable using leverage, balance, and timing to disrupt opponents' rhythm and create openings. Grasso's technical skills in grappling are perhaps less flashy but equally dangerous. She has demonstrated the ability to transition fluidly between striking and submissions, ensuring that any attempt to control her in close quarters could be met with counters or chokes. A fight that reaches the ground would favor Grasso due to her experience and technical acumen, while the early rounds might favor Ditcheva if she can impose her pace. Another aspect of this hypothetical matchup involves endurance and pacing. Ditcheva often starts fights with explosive energy, aiming to finish opponents quickly. Her style relies on maintaining a high tempo, which could be a double-edged sword if Grasso survives the initial onslaught. Grasso's experience allows her to endure intense pressure, absorb damage efficiently, and gradually adjust her strategy. Over the course of 3 or 5 rounds, her ability to manipulate pace and exploit mistakes becomes a significant advantage, highlighting the importance of fight IQ in MMA. Psychological factors also play a crucial role. Ditcheva's confidence stems from her success in early professional bouts and her ability to dominate opponents through sheer speed and aggression. She carries a sense of fearlessness that can unsettle even experienced competitors. Grasso, conversely, carries the weight of championship experience and the calm that comes from surviving high-stakes fights. Her mindset is less about intimidation and more about calculated execution. The interplay between these psychological approaches would be fascinating. Ditcheva attempting to assert dominance early, and Grasso patiently dismantling the young striker's strategy over time. History shows that such matchups between youth and experience often produce the most memorable fights. In MMA, younger fighters can pose explosive, unpredictable challenges, but veterans with extensive experience can navigate the chaos, adjust, and exploit mistakes. In this context, the Grasso vs. Ditcheva fight becomes not just a contest of physical skills but a battle of strategy, composure, and adaptability. Each moment in the cage would carry weight. A well-timed counter from Grasso could negate Ditcheva's early advantage, while a sudden flurry from Ditcheva could pressure Grasso before she fully reads the fight. Considering previous performances is critical. Ditcheva has consistently overwhelmed opponents with speed, precision, and relentless forward pressure. Her ability to cut off the cage, mix strikes at different levels, and create openings for knees, elbows, and punches has marked her as one of the most promising rising stars in women's MMA. Her training regimen and dedication to growth suggest that she is not only physically capable but also mentally prepared for high-pressure situations, although she still has to navigate the nuances of championship-level strategy. Grasso's record tells a different story. one of sustained excellence against elite competition. She has faced champions, contenders, and skilled technicians, and her performances illustrate a deep understanding of fight dynamics. Her ability to adapt in real time, switch between striking and grappling, and maintain composure under pressure makes her exceptionally difficult to beat. For an opponent like Ditcheva, who thrives on speed and aggression, Grasso represents the ultimate test of patience, strategy, and technical skill. Tactically, Ditcheva's approach would likely involve maintaining distance, using her height and reach advantage, and initiating combinations that test Grasso's timing and reaction speed. She would need to capitalize on any opening before Grasso can adjust. Conversely, Grasso would focus on reading Ditcheva's patterns, slipping attacks, and creating moments to counterstrike or implement grappling exchanges. This tactical interplay is what makes fantasy matchups like this so compelling. The fight is not just about raw power, but about how each fighter leverages strengths and exploits weaknesses. The stylistic contrast can also be seen in their respective training approaches. Ditcheva has been honing her explosive striking and clinch techniques, developing her ability to pressure opponents relentlessly. Her coaches focus on maximizing her physical gifts while integrating strategy to control the cage and maintain tempo. Grasso, on the other hand, emphasizes technical mastery, adaptability, and fight IQ. Her preparation includes not only striking drills but also situational sparring, pattern recognition, and endurance for multi-round battles. The contrast between raw aggression and seasoned technicality would define this hypothetical bout. From a fan's perspective, this matchup captures the imagination because it represents a clash of eras and philosophies. Ditcheva symbolizes the next generation of MMA, young, fearless, and willing to push the limits of physical performance. Grasso embodies the current pinnacle of skill, experience, and championship-level composure. The fight would test both fighters' abilities in ways that few other matchups could. Fans would be drawn to the excitement of explosive action and the intrigue of technical mastery, knowing that any moment could dramatically shift the momentum. In practical terms, the fight's outcome hinges on key variables. If Ditcheva establishes her rhythm early, utilizes her reach, and imposes her pace, she could overwhelm Grasso before the veteran can implement her adjustments. Conversely, if Grasso survives the initial pressure, reads the fight's dynamics, and creates opportunities for counters or grappling, she could systematically dismantle Ditcheva's offense and take control in later rounds. The fight is essentially a chess match in motion, with physicality, timing, and strategy all interacting in real time. To summarize, this fantasy matchup between Dakota Ditcheva and Alexa Grasso represents the ultimate contrast in women's MMA. Ditcheva is explosive, aggressive, and technically gifted in striking, capable of overwhelming opponents through speed and pressure. Grasso is experienced, strategic, and highly adaptable, capable of thriving under pressure and exploiting mistakes. The fight would be defined by the interplay of youth versus mastery, aggression versus composure, and speed versus technical precision. Each fighter brings unique threats to the cage, and their respective strengths create a dynamic and unpredictable contest. Ultimately, the allure of this matchup is not solely about who would win, but about the spectacle it would create. Fans would witness a battle that pushes both fighters to their limits, forcing them to employ every aspect of their training, strategy, and mental fortitude. The fight would be a vivid demonstration of why MMA is one of the most compelling sports in the world, a contest where preparation meets instinct, strategy meets skill, and experience meets raw talent. In conclusion, imagining a fight between Dakota Ditcheva and Alexa Grasso allows us to explore the rich complexity of MMA. Ditcheva's explosive youth and aggressive striking challenge Grasso's seasoned experience and tactical composure. The matchup is a study in contrasts, highlighting the importance of timing, strategy, adaptability, and psychological resilience in mixed martial arts. While the outcome of such a fight is impossible to predict with certainty, the analysis of their styles, strengths, and approaches demonstrates why this fantasy showdown captivates the imagination of MMA fans worldwide. Both fighters represent the highest levels of skill in women's MMA, and a fight between them would be remembered not only for the physical display but also for the intricate battle of minds and strategies that unfolds inside the cage. This exploration underscores an essential truth in MMA. Talent and technique are only part of the story. Experience, adaptability, mental composure, and the ability to execute under pressure are equally critical. Ditcheva and Grasso exemplify these qualities in their own ways. Ditcheva's explosive aggression and youth represent the future of the sport, while Grasso's mastery and championship experience reflect the culmination of years of dedication, discipline, and elite-level competition. A fight between them, therefore, is not just a contest. It is a narrative of contrasting philosophies, generational clashes, and the pursuit of excellence in the world of mixed martial arts. Through careful examination of their careers, fighting styles, and psychological attributes, we gain insight into how a matchup like this might unfold. Ditcheva would seek to establish dominance early, leveraging reach, speed, and pressure to unsettle Grasso. Grasso would rely on patience, counterstriking, and adaptability, aiming to weather the storm and exploit openings created by Ditcheva's aggressive approach. Each fighter brings not only physical tools but also strategic acumen and mental fortitude, ensuring that the fight would be a multifaceted test of skill, endurance, and intelligence. In essence, the fantasy matchup between Dakota Ditcheva and Alexa Grasso encapsulates everything that makes MMA fascinating. It is a meeting of explosive talent and seasoned mastery, a collision of strategy and instinct, and a showcase of what makes the sport both unpredictable and thrilling. While we can only speculate on the outcome, the analysis itself provides a deeper appreciation for the complexities of mixed martial arts, the nuances of fighter development, and the excitement that arises when two elite athletes face off in the cage. Ultimately, imagining this fight is a reminder of why fans are drawn to MMA. The sport is not merely about physical prowess. It is about the interplay of mind and body, the execution of strategy under pressure, and the pursuit of victory against the toughest possible competition. Ditcheva and Grasso, through their contrasting paths and complementary skills, represent the essence of this challenge. Whether it is the explosive youth and raw power of Dakota Ditcheva or the precise, adaptive mastery of Alexa Grasso, the matchup is a study in excellence, resilience, and the relentless pursuit of greatness. The speculation around who would prevail only adds to the intrigue. For those who favor speed, aggression, and relentless pressure, Ditcheva embodies the qualities of a future champion in the making. For those who value experience, composure, and tactical brilliance, Grasso represents the pinnacle of what hard-earned expertise can achieve. Together, they define a perfect fantasy matchup, one that invites analysis, debate, and imagination, all while celebrating the artistry and athleticism inherent in MMA. In the end, whether this fight were to take place or remain purely hypothetical, the discussion itself highlights the beauty of mixed martial arts. It is a sport where contrasts are celebrated, where the clash of styles creates drama and excitement, and where every decision, every strike, and every adjustment can determine the course of a contest. Ditcheva versus Grasso is not just a fight. It is a narrative about youth meeting experience, chaos meeting precision, and ambition meeting mastery. It is, in every sense, the embodiment of what makes MMA compelling, inspiring, and endlessly fascinating. This fantasy analysis also emphasizes that MMA is as much about preparation as it is about execution. Both fighters bring years of training, tactical development, and mental conditioning into the cage. Ditcheva's explosive athleticism is honed through rigorous drilling and strategic guidance, while Grasso's championship experience is the product of countless battles against elite opponents. The combination of preparation and in-fight adaptability makes such a matchup incredibly complex, as success depends not only on executing one's game plan but also on responding to the unpredictable dynamics of a live fight. In summary, a hypothetical fight between Dakota Ditcheva and Alexa Grasso is a showcase of two very different but equally compelling approaches to mixed martial arts. Ditcheva's aggressive, explosive style contrasts sharply with Grasso's precise, strategic, and adaptable approach. The matchup exemplifies the excitement that arises when youth meets experience, power meets skill, and aggression meets composure. For fans, analysts, and fighters alike, This fantasy scenario provides a lens through which to explore the depth and complexity of MMA, illustrating why the sport continues to captivate audiences worldwide. In the final analysis, whether one favors Ditcheva's raw energy or Grasso's seasoned expertise, the matchup is emblematic of the richness of women's MMA. It highlights how different styles can produce a fascinating contest and how the interplay between physical ability, strategy, and mental toughness defines the sport. The fight between Dakota Ditcheva and Alexa Grasso, even in hypothetical terms, stands as a testament to the artistry, athleticism, and intellectual challenge inherent in mixed martial arts. This kind of fantasy matchup reminds us that MMA is not merely a test of physical strength, but a multidimensional contest where psychology, preparation, adaptability, and execution converge. Ditcheva's explosive, youthful approach pushes the boundaries of what is possible in striking and pace, while Grasso's disciplined, technical mastery exemplifies the virtues of experience, strategy, and composure. Together, they create a mental and physical chess match that epitomizes the appeal of mixed martial arts as both sport and spectacle. Ultimately, imagining Dakota Ditcheva versus Alexa Grasso allows fans to appreciate the full spectrum of talent, strategy, and mental resilience required in MMA. It provides a compelling narrative of contrast: youth versus experience, aggression versus composure, and raw talent versus refined mastery. Regardless of the hypothetical outcome, such an analysis deepens understanding of the sport and offers insight into how the world's best fighters approach competition, preparation, and adaptation. This matchup is a celebration of skill, athleticism, and the relentless pursuit of excellence that defines mixed martial arts today. In conclusion, a fantasy fight between Dakota Ditcheva and Alexa Grasso captures the essence of MMA, a sport where contrasting styles, strategic intelligence, and physical prowess converge to create moments of extraordinary tension and drama. Ditcheva embodies the new generation of fighters, fast, explosive, and unyielding, while Grasso represents the wisdom and adaptability earned through years of elite competition. Together, they illustrate the thrilling complexity and excitement that make MMA one of the most captivating sports in the world, and analyzing such a matchup provides a unique lens through which to appreciate the artistry, athleticism, and psychological nuance of this remarkable sport.